My ex went viral calling me cheap, so I posted the $6,000 I spent on her and let the internet judge. Hi, I'm Nate, 27, and I thought I'd seen it all until my own girlfriend called me financially abusive online. Because I didn't want to drop $1,000 on one dinner. She didn't say it to my face. No, she posted it on her story with our mutual friends watching after I dared to suggest we eat literally anywhere cheaper than the $500 a plate restaurant. She had her eye on. Let me back up. I'd been dating Madison for 8 months. Social media consultant. Lived with roommates, wore Gucci sunglasses, and somehow always had a new phone. Meanwhile, I worked in IT support, steady income, $72,000 a year, not flashy but stable. And I paid for everything. First date, second, 100th, weekend trips, movie nights, dinners, coffee. She'd reach for her purse, I'd say, got it, and she'd give that smile like I was the best boyfriend alive. I didn't mind at first, but then came that dinner, $500 tasting menu. I looked it up, my heart sank. That one meal would nuke my budget for 2 whole months. So I texted her politely, hey, that's a little out of range for me. Let's go somewhere still nice, but more reasonable. And her reply? Wow, I didn't realize you were struggling financially. My ex would have made it happen. This is embarrassing. Then silence. For 3 hours, and the next thing I see? A public Instagram story. Why do broke men even try dating? If you can't treat a woman right, just stay home and level up first. She didn't tag me. She didn't have to. The comment section exploded, her friends hyping her up, dragging me without even knowing me. Period. Broke boy behavior. If he can't spend $1,000 on you, he's not the one. I didn't comment. Didn't text. Didn't call. Instead, I opened Venmo. Made a public request. $6,427. Itemized. 8 months of dates, dinners, movies, and trips. Caption: since I'm too broke to date properly, here's your half of the relationship expenses. Thanks for the financial clarity. Then I went back to work. The fallout hit fast. Within 30 minutes, my phone was blowing up. Madison's best friend Kelsey called. Then Brittany. Then Ashley. Then Madison herself. 14 missed calls in a row. I didn't pick up a single one. My phone lit up with texts instead. Are you serious right now? You're really doing this over one dinner? This is psychotic. Take it down. Everyone can see this. Answer your phone. This is so embarrassing, but I didn't say a word. I just watched the comments pile up on the Venmo request. See, when you make a request public on Venmo, people can comment, and boy, did Audie James commented. Bro was funding a whole relationship solo. Dennis from work. This man kept receipts. Respect. Some random stranger. Not the itemized relationship invoice. Iconic. But Madison's friends weren't done. They came swinging. Kelsey. This is financial abuse. You're weaponizing money. Ashley. Small dick energy. Brittany. Imagine being this petty over your girlfriend wanting nice things. And that's when the internet got involved. Strangers started pushing back hard. Financial abuse is making someone pay for everything, then calling them broke. 6,400 in 8 months? That's a used car. She wanted the soft life, but none of the responsibility. The request racked up 300 likes in under 2 hours. Then someone screenshot it and posted it on Twitter. And just like that, it started going viral. By the time Madison showed up at my door that evening, I'd already muted every group chat we were both in. I watched her through my Ring doorbell camera. Designer coat I'd bought her for her birthday. Michael Kors bag from our 6-month anniversary. She looked like a rich girl in a rom-com who'd just been told the credit card was declined. Nate, open the door. We need to talk. Me, through the intercom. Did you come to pay the Venmo request? She laughed. I was venting. You know I didn't mean it. You meant it. Enough to post it to your 8,000 followers. Take the request down and we can talk. Pay it and we can talk. She stood there for 10 minutes, crying, yelling, pleading, then yelling again. My neighbor came out to see what the noise was about. Madison spun around and said, he's abusing me by not letting me in. And my neighbor, God bless her, just blinked and said, honey, not letting you in isn't abuse. That's called boundaries. Madison left. But not quietly. That night, she posted a Notes app screenshot to her story, titled, "The Truth. Since someone wants to be petty and count pennies, let's talk about emotional labor. I decorated his apartment, taught him about wine, made him look good in front of his friends. Some of y'all don't understand a woman's presence is the prize." I screenshotted it, of course, and then I posted my own story, just one photo, a screenshot of her LinkedIn profile where she claimed to be a six-figure social media entrepreneur, and underneath it, her actual business website, which showed exactly 3 clients in 12 months. Caption: "Interesting definition of upgrading my existence. From someone who made less than $3,000 last year, but owns 10,000 in designer bags. Math isn't mathing. And the internet ate it up." By morning, things had escalated into full-on social media warfare. Madison's friends were scrambling to spin the narrative. They started a hashtag financial abyssal, claiming I was manipulating her, that I'd trapped her in a financially dependent relationship and was now publicly humiliating her to punish her for speaking up. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. The receipts were doing the talking. James, my buddy, posted a screenshot from Madison's story 2 months earlier where she proudly bragged, "Never paying for anything because I'm just that girl." Dennis found her TikTok with a video literally titled, "How to Get Him to Pay for Everything Without Asking." Tips included, always forget your wallet, mention things you want, and pause. If he doesn't offer to buy it, he's not the one. But the real bomb dropped when Madison's own roommate, Taylor, DM'd me, "Hey, I know we don't really know each other, but I thought you should know some stuff." She wasn't mad. She sounded tired. Madison hasn't paid rent in 2 months. She owes me and our other roommate like $3,200 total. She keeps saying her business is about to take off. Taylor paused, then added, "Now, I see where her money was really coming from." "I'm sorry, Nate, you didn't deserve that." I asked her if she'd be willing to go on record. "Absolutely. Enough is enough." Meanwhile, Madison doubled down. She went on her friend's podcast, 12 listeners total, to tell her truth. Some highlights: I was controlling because I kept track of expenses. The Venmo request was financial violence. She never asked for anything. Her broke men post was taken out of context. She was traumatized by the public backlash. It might have stayed niche, except someone posted the podcast to Reddit, and Reddit does not hold back. Top comments: "So he's abusive for sending a receipt after being called broke?" Girl made a TikTok about mooching, then cried when it backfired. Financial violence? She's lucky he didn't send her an invoice with interest. But Madison wasn't done. She tried the nuclear option. She contacted my job. HR emailed me Wednesday morning. My stomach dropped. My hands actually went cold. I walked into Patricia's office, our HR manager, expecting disaster. But she was laughing. "Patricia, so, we got a complaint that you're engaging in harassment and financial abuse on social media." I froze. She waved it off. "Relax. I saw the Venmo thing. Is this seriously about that?" I showed her the original broke men post, the receipts, Madison's Notes app story, her podcast quotes, and Taylor's DMs. Patricia shook her head. "This is the dumbest complaint I've ever received." "You're fine, Nate. Just maybe don't go viral during work hours again." Fair. But Madison still wasn't done. That night, I got an email from a sketchy Gmail account claiming to be a lawyer. Attached, a cease and desist letter. It demanded I remove the Venmo request, pay her $5,000, apologize for emotional distress and defamation. I forwarded it to my cousin, who's an actual lawyer. He laughed for 5 solid minutes. "This isn't even on legal letterhead." She typed this in Google Docs. "And FYI, truth is an absolute defense against defamation." She made it public. "You're just responding." "Oh, naturally, posted that too." Just a screenshot of the Gmail. Caption: "Now I'm getting fake legal threats via Gmail." The audacity is truly Olympic level. Still waiting on that Venmo payment though. The email vanished a few hours later, but the story? It was just starting to spread. The next chapter came from the most unexpected source of all: Madison's ex-boyfriend. His name was Marcus, and apparently he'd been watching the chaos unfold with popcorn in hand. He DM'd me one night, Bro, I've been waiting 2 years for someone to finally see through her BS. Can we talk? We met up for beers the next evening. Marcus looked exactly like the kind of guy you'd picture Madison with before me, tall, gym-built, kind of smug. But when he pulled out a literal folder of screenshots and receipts, I realized we were brothers in survival. Dude, he said. She did the exact same thing to me. Dated me for 18 months, bled me dry. And when I said no to a $5,000 Mexico trip, she told everyone I was emotionally abusive and financially controlling. Then he slid the folder across the table. Inside, messages from Madison's private group chat securing the bag. 12 women. Dozens of conversations, tips, brags, strategies. One thread stood out. Madison. This guy's starting to push back on expensive dinners. Time to find the next one. Friend. Girl. Maintain until you've got a replacement lined up. Never leave money on the table. Madison. True. I'll keep him around another month. Then bounce. That message was dated 1 week before she called me broke on Instagram. I stared at the page, and something just clicked inside me. This wasn't about love. It wasn't even about money. It was about entitlement. The kind that runs so deep, it justifies using people like human ATMs and crying abuse the second they stop dispensing cash. I asked Marcus if I could share the screenshots. He didn't even hesitate. Post whatever you want. Just blur the other girls' names. People need to know. So that night, I dropped my final post. 3 screenshots. Group chat messages. No edits. No commentary. Just a caption. Turns out, I wasn't broke. I was just the current ATM. Glad my financial services are no longer required. To anyone else funding someone's lifestyle while being called cheap, keep receipts. You deserve better. It exploded. Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, YouTube commentary channels. The phrase, securing the bag chat, became a meme. People started posting their own versions. How I got played. How I realized I was the wallet, not the partner. Things my ex said before draining my savings. Madison's world collapsing. Taylor, the roommate, publicly commented on my post. This explains why you haven't paid rent in 2 months. You had me buying your groceries while you were Chanel. We're done. Kelsey unfollowed her and wrote, I defended you. And you were using all of us. Even her own cousin tagged her with, you played yourself, girl. And the securing the bag chat. Someone leaked the entire thing on Twitter. 12 women. Dozens of posts. A few had even bragged about using company events to target men with tech jobs. 3 were fired within 48 hours. Madison tried one last desperate Hail Mary. She made a tearful video. Face bare. Dramatic lighting. Voice shaking. This is harassment. These men are collaborating to destroy women. I'm being punished for having standards. Those screenshots are fake. They're just bitter incels. Nobody bought it. Her Instagram dropped from 8,000 followers to under 2,000 in 3 days. Her social media business tanked overnight. Clients backed out. Her website went dark. Last I heard, she'd moved back to her parents' place, citing toxic city energy. The Venmo request, still pending. Now with over 2,000 likes and hundreds of comments, most of them hilarious. Some guy even turned it into a t-shirt design. And me? Well, that $800 month I was spending on Madison, it now lives in a high-yield savings account. First thing I bought, a custom gaming PC. Second thing, peace of mind. So where was I? Oh, we're recovering from being used like a live-in credit card. Funny thing is, once the dust settled, my life got quieter, simpler, and better. And oh, more surprise. $300 girl dinner charges. No more designer bags, accidentally added to our shared shopping cart. No more cryptic texts like, ugh, I wish someone loved me enough to get me these shoes, with a link to something that cost more than my rent. And most importantly, no more guilt, because for the first time in a long time, I wasn't being manipulated into thinking boundaries made me a bad boyfriend. Instead, I had time, emotional bandwidth, a bank account that didn't feel like it was being drained through a straw. And then something kind of wild happened. Guys started reaching out. Lots of them. At first, it was just DMs. Dude, thank you. That post gave me the courage to confront my ex. I've been bankrolling a soft life fantasy for a girl who never paid for anything. I thought I was crazy until I saw your story. Man, I thought I was the only one, so I made a group chat. I called it Recovering at Ms.it. Started with 6 of us, then 12, then 30. Now, it's got over 200 members. A full spreadsheet of financial red flags. We even made merch. A hoodie that says, "Split the bill" or "Split the room." We joke. But some of these stories, they'd make Madison look like a Girl Scout. One guy paid his ex's law school tuition. She cheated during finals week. Another funded his girlfriend's entire TikTok career, lights, camera, ring light, you name it, and found out she'd been calling him her finance guy to her followers. Like he was a sponsor, not a boyfriend. So yeah, turns out there's a lot of us. And speaking of surprises, guess who slid back into my DMs? Yup, Madison, unblocked me just long enough to send one last message. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life over money. I loved you, and you humiliated me. You and Marcus are pathetic losers who can't handle strong women. Enjoy your boring, cheap life. I stared at it for a moment, smiled, replied, I am happy, actually, and the Venmo request is still active if you want to settle up. Blocked her again. Then posted a screenshot in the group chat. The boys went wild, but the best part, it wasn't revenge. It wasn't the meme. It wasn't even the financial closure. It was my mom calling me. Yes, my actual, wholesome, Midwestern mom who follows me on Instagram. Good for you, honey. Your dad pulled the same stunt once before he met me. These women want traditional providers without giving traditional respect. You dodged a bullet, then, without missing a beat. Also, $6,400 in 8 months? We need to talk about your budgeting skills. Thanks, Mom. Anyway, a month passed. I started dating again slowly, cautiously. Went on a coffee date with a girl named Eliza. When the check came, she immediately reached for her wallet. Let's split it, she said. I almost cried in the Starbucks. We're 5 dates in now. Our last one? A picnic in the park. She brought homemade brownies and a thermos of hot cocoa. No designer handbags. No viral expectations. No manipulation disguised as standards. Just a good time with someone who sees me as a person, not a walking ATM. Funny how $6,427 and one viral Venmo request taught me what 5 years of dating hadn't. Love doesn't require a receipt. Respect doesn't need a price tag. And entitlement? Well, that always has a bill coming due. About 2 months after the whole fiasco, I got a letter in the mail. Not a bill, not spam. A real, physical letter with cursive handwriting on the envelope and a floral stamp like it came from your grandma's stationery drawer. The return address? Madison's mom. Now, I had only met her once during our relationship, a polite woman with tired eyes and the emotional posture of someone who'd been apologizing for her daughter's behavior for 20 years. She was the type to smile through a crisis while quietly gripping the armrest until her knuckles turned white. The letter was short, 4 paragraphs, carefully worded. She thanked me for being kind to Madison. When she didn't make it easy, she said the past few weeks had been a wake-up call for our entire family. She apologized not just for the car crash that was her daughter, but for how I was treated by everyone. And then, at the very end, please don't think all of us condone how Madison behaved. I raised her better, but somewhere along the line, she stopped listening. I sat at my kitchen counter, letter in one hand, coffee in the other, and felt something I hadn't expected. Not pity, not satisfaction, just a weird, quiet peace. The kind that comes from knowing you did the right thing, even when no one clapped for you at first, even when they called you dramatic, petty, broke, because in the end, truth has a way of shaking the glitter off everything. Fake. Madison was still in the city, as far as I knew. She disappeared from social media, probably hoping to rebrand in 6 months with a new username and a fresh set of victims, but the ripple was still spreading. Our Venmo saga had turned into a cautionary tale. Podcasts talked about it. YouTubers made think pieces. One therapist on TikTok even stitched the story and said, "This is why financial boundaries are vital. If someone shames you for not spending beyond your means, that's not a partner. That's a liability." Meanwhile, Eliza and I, still dating, still normal, still splitting checks like it's not a big deal. Because love shouldn't feel like a contract you didn't agree to. It should feel like coming home. About 3 weeks after that letter from Madison's mom, I got a text from Marcus, the ex-boyfriend turned unlikely ally. Dude, you're not gonna believe this. Attached was a photo from someone's private story. Madison at some influencer networking brunch, sitting between two guys in suits, captioned, "New beginnings. Leveling up again." I didn't react. Not even a blink. I just typed, "Wishing them luck. They're gonna need it." But Marcus? He was fired up. "She's out here pretending none of this happened. Rebranding like she's Bianca with amnesia." I shrugged. Let her, and I meant it. See, there was a time when that photo would have wrecked me, when I'd have spiraled, wondering if I'd overreacted, if I'd lost someone valuable. But now, all I saw was a girl sitting at a fancy table, chasing a lifestyle she never paid for, never earned, and probably didn't understand. Let her keep chasing it. I was done playing catch and carry for someone else's ego. That week, I got promoted at work. My manager pulled me aside during our Monday meeting and said, "We noticed your leadership in that server migration. You're getting a raise, not viral, not dramatic, just earned." And Eliza? She baked a cake to celebrate. No caption, no selfies, just us, laughing in my kitchen, icing smudged on her cheek. That night, she asked me something no one had ever asked before. "Are you happy?" I looked around at my modest apartment, at the beat-up couch I bought secondhand, at the girl sitting cross-legged in a hoodie with frosting on her thumb, and for the first time in a long, long time, I answered without hesitation, "Yeah, I really am." The past was still there. The Venmo post still existed. People still tagged me in memes about it now and then. But I wasn't angry anymore. Because that story? It wasn't about Madison anymore. It was about me. Realizing I'd spent too long begging for respect from people who only saw me as useful. Now, I didn't have to beg. I just had to live. And I was finally doing that. The last time I ever saw Madison was 6 months later. In the clearance aisle at Target, I was grabbing dish soap. She was holding a half-empty shopping basket and pretending not to see me, but I saw her, hair pulled back, no makeup, cheap flats, talking to herself quietly, probably rehearsing how to walk past me with dignity. But it didn't matter. She looked human, the curated social media version, not the luxury chasing. Why do broke men even try dating version? Just a person in sweatpants on a Tuesday, buying laundry detergent with a gift card. I didn't say anything. Neither did she. We passed each other like two strangers who might have known each other in a dream once. And that was enough, because I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't even smug. I was just free. I had my job, my friends, a girlfriend who brought her own wallet and her whole self to the table, a savings account that didn't need to be drained to feel valued. And most importantly, peace. And peace has no price tag. That Venmo post? Still up. Still sitting at $6,427 requested. Still pending. People ask me why I never deleted it. Some say it's petty. Others say it's iconic. A few say it's sad. But here's the truth. I left it up because it's not about the money. It's a monument. A digital gravestone for every time I said yes when I should have said no. For every time I infused generosity with self-sacrifice. For every time thought love meant proving I was enough by footing the bill. It's there to remind me and anyone else who needs it that setting boundaries isn't cruel. It's necessary. That if someone makes you feel small for protecting your finances, your time, or your energy, they're not a partner. They're a liability. And sometimes, the best closure isn't getting your money back. It's realizing you were never the problem. You were the lesson. Madison may never pay me that 6 for 2.7, but she already paid in full, with every follower she lost, with every job lead that ghosted her after the screenshots went viral, with every person who saw through the smoke and mirrors and decided, I'm not funding someone else's delusion of success. Meanwhile, I kept building, and that's the real revenge. Not the Venmo request, not the receipts, but the quiet, steady life I built. When I finally stopped proving myself to people who'd never meet me halfway, I got myself back. And this time, I'm not for sale.